How's it going, Biathlon fans? The Biathlon season is right around the corner, and there's a couple new rules that the IBU has implemented this year. So in this video, I want to go over the new rules and let you know everything that you can expect to see that's going to be new in this BMW IBU Biathlon season. Now, there's not too much that has changed this season, so this is going to be a pretty short video, and quite frankly, there's not going to be any groundbreaking rules, so if you're just a casual fan, this is going to be really in the weeds, but hopefully this video will help you sort of understand the new rules that are going to be in place this year if you hear the commentators talking about it, or you might even hear some athletes complaining about some of the new rules because one of these rules is actually pretty controversial. So luckily for us, the IBU gave us this super clear article about all the new rules that have been adopted this year, and there's 3 that I really want to go over in this video. The first one is there are new points, a new point system. Now, after they just updated the point season last year in the 24 season, they've actually modified this new point system a little bit. As you can see, you get a few more points for coming in 3rd, 4th, all the way pretty much in the top 10, but you still get your crazy 90 points for first place, so there's still a huge advantage for coming in first. Now, naturally, with this new point system, I had to ask myself, does this change? Could this have changed the results from last year, considering the results at the end of the season were so close between Tanneveld, Vitozzi, and Jean Monod? So this is why you subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, because I went through and I applied these points to last year to see if there was going to be anything new. And, well, I hate to burst your bubble, but really there's actually no change. You can see here that in the 2025 score, they did actually have more points compared to 2024, but the actual ranking was the exact same. There's a little bit of change here and there as you go down the list, but nothing too different. And it's the same on the men's side as well. As you can see, they did score a few more points, but as you can see, it really did not affect anyone, definitely in the top 10. A few, swapping of places here and there in the minor places. But overall, I think this is a pretty fair new rule because it's not going to make any drastic change to this season. But for some reason, it said in the article that with talking to the athlete reps, they felt that this was a more fair point system. So you can look forward to that this year. Okay, so as we scroll down in this article, you'll see that the IBU has more prize money awarded to the winners this year. $9 million will be given out to the World Cup athletes this season in prize money. That is absolutely insane. But you can see, again, it really affects these athletes that are coming in the middle 10s area, and then actually it affects a lot of these athletes coming in the high teens, low 20s as well. So it's not a big bump, 50 euro here and there. Up here, that's 1,000 euro. And same thing at World Champs, a few extra dollars kicked your way at World Champs, but nothing groundbreaking here. Now here is the big one, the new start group order for the sprint and individual competitions. Now I want to break this down really clearly because this is a piece of the sport that really the casual fan probably doesn't ever think about. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how the start seeding used to work, and then I'm going to explain these new rules. And the new rules are so intricate that they actually gave us a whole new article specifically dedicated to these new rules. Okay, so back in the day, if you're the team leader, last year, if you're the team leader of a biathlon team at an IBU event, you will get on your credentials, you'll see a little QR code. Now don't look at my picture here, I was 16 in this video, but you can see there is a QR code right here, and what you would do, what you do as the team leader is before every race, the day before, you go up to the comp office or the competition office, you scan in, and then it brings you to this dashboard. And basically what this dashboard gives you is it has your athletes that are registered to race in the event. Now what you do in this dashboard is you get to decide which start group you want your athletes to race in. Now, normally, this is what I would do if all the conditions were perfectly fine. I would hit submit, but you know what? Maybe there's gonna be a big snowstorm before the race. The tracks are gonna be have really heavy snow, but then the storm is gonna stop, and as more people ski over the snow is actually gonna become faster. So I wanna give my best athlete the best chance to win here. And so I might actually reverse the start order and do something like this. Now, if you're a big nation like France and you have more than 4 start spots, there's a couple different rules when it comes to athletes in the top 10 and top 15. So if I were a nation like France and we were running the same scenario, there's gonna be a snowstorm early in the day, but it's gonna clear up and the tracks are gonna get faster later in the race. I would wanna put my best skiers towards the back of the start list, and then with these top 15 athletes, they have a little bit more freedom. They can go in some other groups. So I'm going to put Jacqueline in group 4, and I'll put Perot in group 3, and then you hit submit. And then all that data, every team, once their whole roster is submitted and everyone chooses their start groups for their team, gets compiled into a sorting system that looks like this. So you can see, and this is actually the other way around. This is assuming good conditions. We have group 1, your best guy, and then maybe a couple people in group 2, and then your slowest guy usually goes in group 4. Then what the organizers end up doing is they sort all of the groups. So everyone that was selected for group 1 is at the beginning, group 2 is at the, group 3, and so on. Then what they do is they come over here and they randomize everyone in this group. So we'll go to randomize this range. We'll do it a couple times because we want it to be fair. One more time. Boom. And then they go through and they do it for group 2. They do all the groups. Then they come up here. They sort A to Z, and boom. There is your start list. Looks like just completely randomly, Johannes Tingesbo as bib 1. Option 2, Samuelson. Where's my USA? Group number 1, that's Campbell Wright. He is bib 18. Now the problem with this seeding is actually, it's funny this happened. You saw me, I completely randomized it. Johannes Tingesbo is bib number 1. Now, most of the favorites are going to be in the first or second group, assuming the weather conditions are normal, and they're going to race, they're going to get done, and there's going to be half the field yet to even race, and TV viewers are tuning out everywhere, because they know the chances of a late starter coming up and winning a race or challenging for a medal is so slim that they're not going to wait and watch and stick around. So the IBU is trying to figure out how they can sort of enforce the favorites to start later in the race, so that way the viewers will watch the entire race all the way through. So they came out with some new rules regarding start groups. Here is basically how it works. There's going to be 3 color groups now. We have athletes with the World Cup total rank 1 through 15 are going to be red group. Athletes ranked 16 through 30 are going to be blue group. And then there's going to be this green group, which is basically athletes who have scored really good, what are called qualifying points. Now, the IBU doesn't make these points public, so it's going to be really hard to really know who's in the green group. But think of this as a group of athletes that maybe are top 10 caliber biathletes, but they don't race on the World Cup all the time, or maybe they were sick, so they don't have really good World Cup points, but they're still maybe a top 10 favorite, so they didn't race all the season. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to stick with the red and the blue group. So you have the red group for the top 15, the blue group for the top 30, and then everyone else is just going to be known as non-designated. And basically how it happens now is when the team leaders go to check in, they're going to see something that looks like this. We'll just use France, for example, again. Because Jacqueline and Perot are in the top 15, they're automatically sorted into the red group, and Quentin Filmaillet, who's top 30, is in the blue group, and actually Fabien Cloud would also be in the blue group. And then you have the option to sort whoever is left, your non-designated athletes, who would be Guignot and Lombardo. You have the option to put them in any group that you want, but they ask, and it says here, to please distribute them evenly as possible. So now, after hitting submit and all the teams come through, this is what the new sorting is going to look like. As you can see here for Austria, we have Simon Eder, who would be a blue grouper, and then his 5 teammates, because Austria has 5 start spots. They are going to be evenly distributed between the 3 groups, and as you can see, it'll go like this all the way down with our red and blue groupers mixed in. So now what the IBU is going to do is they're going to take group 1 here, and they're going to randomize their bib numbers in group 1. Then it says bibs 1 through 15 will be the athletes in this order. So let's sort A to Z, bibs 1 through 15. Boom, you guys are all set. Bib number 16 will be the first designated athlete in the blue group. Now here is my question. They're going to come down to the blue group, the first designated athlete in the blue group. We'll take him and we'll slide him all the way up, and we'll put him right there at what would be bib number 16. Boom. Followed by the next athlete, the 16th draw of the non-designated draw, continued by alternation of blue group athletes and overall non-designated list. The first designated athlete of the red group will follow 60 seconds after the last designated blue group athlete. So basically how it will go blue, non-designated, blue, non-designated, all the way through, and then once you're out of blue athletes, you go to red. Red, non-red, non-red, all the way down until the start order ends up looking something like this. So in this hypothetical situation, you can see our blue group athletes are mixed in here, and then right after our last blue group athlete, you have your red group athletes, and then the green list group will go in after the red group and continue on if there's any green list athletes. Now here's my question here. As you can see, if you look closely, you'll see Fiolmaillet, he was 16th overall. Cloud was 17. Stalder, 18. Horn, 19. Are they going to literally take the overall rankings and plop them in like that? Or are they going to randomize the blue group and then take that randomized blue group and sort them into the start list? Same thing with the red. As you can see, it's Bo, it's Johannes Tingus, Tarjei, Johannes. This is rank number 1, rank number 2, rank number 3, rank number 4. Is Tarjei always going to be starting 60 seconds behind Johannes in a sprint competition? Is Johannes Dahle always going to be starting 60 seconds behind Tarjei Bo? That is the question that was not clear to me in reading the new rules. Now, this has become an extremely controversial new rule because obviously, look at this. A lot of the favorites are starting pretty far back. Philip Narvath, he's ranked 15th overall, but guess what? He's starting bib 70. I know that it's not going to be favored by the athletes, but in my opinion, I think this is a really cool idea because it's going to make the overall score a lot more competitive. All right, the final note and the final new rule that I want to talk about here is there's no more the U25 bib. It is now the U23 bib. So real quick, I wanted to go in and take a look to see who are going to be some of the U23s that we should be looking for. And so what I did was I went to Real Biathlon. I have a really cool search system here. And so I found the athletes who were 21 last season, or at least 21 last season, and will be U23s this year. And as you can see on the women's side, we had Grosjean, Kirkheide, Richard, Tannheimer, Sarah Anderson. So honestly, for this blue bib on the women's side, it's going to be pretty exciting. Now, when we head over to the men's side, I hope that there's going to be just as good... Okay, well, the blue bib is going to be fun to watch this year. We'll see what happens. But let me know what you think about the new rules in the comments down below. And if you have a different interpretation of these new rules, let me know. Let's get this conversation going. But until next time, we'll see ya.